What happens if a situation arises that you were unprepared for? A situation such as a blizzard, a tornado, or being locked down due to a virus. Put yourself in any possible situation that could arise. Now ask yourself, what would you do? Where would you go? What do you need? Are you ready? Because what if tomorrow? Welcome to the What If Tomorrow podcast. I'm Philip.
And I'm Mark.
And we're back. It's been, 2 weeks? 2 weeks since we came on?
With 2 weeks since we've done this show, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we did the Halloween episode, then we took a hiatus, and we didn't do it last week because I was exhausted from driving back from Texas, and I was like, nah, I don't think it'll work out too well. I guess it wouldn't have hurt. I mean, it don't work out too well usually anyway. So,
story of my life, buddy. Story of my life.
I understand. But no, man, we're here tonight. We're here to discuss kind of how things are. You know, just like the title headline says, where we are or where we were, where we are, and kind of our opinions on kind of maybe where we might be going. And how that, I think, will relate to preparedness with the economy, with possible shortages here in the near future, the winter coming, all that. We're going to kind of jump into that and discuss that. But first things first, check our website out, What If Tomorrow PC, or what if tomorrow media.com. We got all our affiliates over there. We've got My Patriot Supply, which might come in handy. I would kind of recommend it. I mean, it's good to have. It's good insurance.
Can't hurt nothing.
At least provide your family with a week's worth of food. Especially with winter coming, looming blackouts. You know, it's the same story. You guys know the story. We have Conflicted the Game. We have EMP Shield. Excuse me. And we have Duke Cannon. Check us out. Help the show out. Also, if you don't want to jump into any of that, feel free to buy us a coffee. It's a new thing we've set up. We're trying out. The link's down here at the bottom of the page. And, you know, buy us a coffee. It's like $5 if you want to throw us a bone, you know, help us out with the show. Because this does cost money, you know, just like any hobby does. But we would appreciate any support you could give us. Even if it's just share, a like, or whatever over on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you consume your podcast, it'd be great. YouTube, Rumble, we're over on Rumble. So it all helps, you know, it pushes the algorithm up. So do us a favor, support us any way you can. I know things might be tight for some people, and just a like and a comment, you know, even email us. Hey, man, you guys are doing great. You guys suck, whatever. I don't care. Let us know what you guys want to hear about. So my wife, she said, I think my hobbies cost more money. They're getting there. Especially what we were talking about today. But anyway, I didn't have a lot of time to check on the news aside from the election stuff. My internet's kind of been spotty, so if I cut in and out, I apologize in advance. But Mark, he was able to get a little more news than I am, so I'm going to turn it over to him.
Well, I'm just going to go through some of the headlines. First, I want to send my thoughts and prayers out to those who were involved, whose families were involved in the accident at the air show recently. We had a mid-air collision. I believe 6 people passed away tragically, and my thoughts and prayers to them and their families.
Yeah.
So
it's unfortunate.
That being said, it was terrible. I watched it.
Yeah.
If you haven't watched it, don't. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. And the sad part is, you know, when we're in the business we're in, it happens not necessarily to us, but you hear about incidents all the time. Never fails. And to see these two on the video, I'm sure I saw the same video you did. It was a midair collision, and there were two warbirds. You know, the antique warbirds, beautiful airplanes. Um, I mean, obviously, everything involved was irreplaceable. You know, the human lives. I don't mean to sound insensitive. If I do, I apologize because I'm not trying to be. But there was so much history there. Plus, the people that put their heart and souls into those airplanes, restoring them and flying them around for other people to enjoy. It's sad all the way around. It's sad.
And you just can't list the tragedies out there. Just that affected so many people. Uh,
Yeah, I mean,
Continue to, and it will continue to. I know those families have to be absolutely devastated.
oh, absolutely. You know, and I couldn't imagine uh, the families that were affected on the ground because they
Watching it. Yeah,
watching it.
that's the
Yeah,
most horrible part is
yep,
these families were watching it as their loved ones, were in this terrible accident.
right,
So, please, everybody, support them in your thoughts and prayers. You know,
absolutely.
if if you know them, reach out to them, give them a hug. You know, take care of them. They're hurting right now.
Yep, it's a rough deal.
So I'm going to go through some of the news. You know what? I'm going to ignore the political stuff because I don't care. I do, but I don't.
I'll touch on it here in a little bit. It's
We'll
not going to
touch on it
drive the
here in a
show,
little bit,
but
but I mean, I'm tired of the politics. It's business as usual in Washington, and
yep,
none of us care anymore.
yep, you're right.
So, let's see. They're wanting to show us the last pictures of a bunch of college students before they were murdered. I think that's in poor taste. We don't need to see them in their final moments or whatever.
Yep,
We need to find out who did this and put them away forever.
yeah. Where was that at? Was that
Um,
I forget where that was at.
I cannot remember. It was in Idaho. I remember that.
I'll say Idaho. I thought.
Moscow, Idaho. So, let's see. A teacher forced to quit after OnlyFans page gets discovered.
Well, what do you think's going to happen?
Well, she did go to the trouble of making it not searchable in her home state. So,
Well,
but that stuff eventually comes out.
yeah. I mean,
I have an
I,
OnlyFans. No, I really don't.
I,
I keep teasing people I do.
I mean, with that though, I mean, with technology the way it is, people can get a hold of that crap any way they want.
Yeah, it's gonna be out there.
You
You can
know, I
spoof
mean,
your ID or whatever, and
yeah, it's not to mention, being somebody like a teacher or somebody in the public eye. You got all these damn hackers out there that could blackmail you or say, either give us this kind of money or we're going to put your business out there.
I
We've
mean,
got all the pictures here.
yeah, I feel bad for her. She said she needed the money. I get it. But kind of dumb. Not gonna lie, kind of dumb.
But I think here's my take on the OnlyFans thing. The a bunch of different things. Right now, you guys have heard me say many times, this is a spiritual war, good versus evil. I'm not the most prim and proper, upstanding person. I'm going to put that out there foremost. But this is an example of the spirit of the age.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the battle lines are drawn really in essence, and I'll touch more into it a little bit later. Sorry, go ahead.
it's fine. Um, let's see. Oh, Jay Leno, was badly burned working on a car in his garage. Everybody sent him
Dang.
some thoughts and prayers. Yeah, I guess he was sprayed with gas and it ignited.
Oh, that ain't good.
Yeah, it was a bad deal. Um, again, ignoring the politics. Now this is interesting. Jeff Bezos has offered some advice to business owners and uh, customers not to make any big ticket purchases for a few months just to see how things are going. So he's
Wow.
gonna put that stuff off for now.
He's not
So
wrong.
he's not wrong. So, but I found it interesting that that could affect his business. He's telling people, don't buy big, don't get
Yeah.
into any more debt than you have to. So and that's always good advice, but it just kind of surprised me from the source. And you know, not a big Bezos fan, but he just earned a couple points in my book, so you know, he's going towards the middle again. Let's see. Scrolling down here. Most of the stuff is all political, and I'm not really too cracked on it. Oh, uh, Russian pro-Russian hackers claimed attack on FBI site.
Hmm.
So hackers are attacking the FBI. Well, I'm sorry, FBI. The hackers are attacking everybody. You should actually do your jobs and stop persecuting
Yeah.
Americans and get on it. Sorry.
Yep.
Uh, let's see. Scrolling down. I'm not going to go too deep in all this stuff because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But some of this stuff seemed like it would be good to. Um, S&P 500 falls some more. That's not a surprise. And you know what? That's probably all I really want to talk about because it's all political.
Yep.
I don't want to give them the time of day.
Like I said, man, I mean, I'm probably going to touch on it a little bit because
Well,
I
I'm
think
I'm sure we are, but there's no. It's just it's frustrating.
it is very. I don't think we'll kind of roll down the list here. I mean, I've got a kind of a list in my head as jumbled up as that is. I mean, kind of where we were. Um, I don't see today, almost a week out from the elections that still haven't been called because it's ridiculous because they can't count freaking ballots, regardless of whether you think it's being stolen, which there could probably be an argument made because there's some fishy stuff going on, which I'm not going to go into. I'm not here for that. If you want to know about it, you can find it everywhere. But I don't think we're in a better or worse position than we were before a week ago, before these
I
elections.
really think it's status quo.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, I can go down the conspiracy theory route and all that, but I'm really not going to right now. I mean, everybody that listens regularly knows how my mind works. They know that I'm constantly thinking of something. What's the end game? What's the play going on right now? What are they distracting us from? What are they not telling us? Which I think is all valid, in my own opinion. But uh, where we were, I don't truly really believe that
I think we've moved that far.
we haven't.
Um,
The division, if anything, today where we are right now, the division is getting deeper. You can see it. You look on all these other websites and all that discussions.
we hate you, you hate us.
Exactly.
Let's everybody hate everybody.
There's no common ground anymore, and that's what's sad. You and I, we talk a lot about coming together and trying to find that common ground with people. And I think for the most part, still, I'm hopeful. I think, Um,
Most people are willing to look for that common ground.
right.
The big
Um,
news organizations and the politicians are not. They're trying to divide us.
well,
They're
here's the
trying to
reason
make
here.
us think we're divided.
Right. And here's the reason I think because people are waking up to all the bull crap that's going on.
Absolutely.
So everybody left, right, they were starting to come together, saying, "No, this isn't right." The whole transgender movement, the whole election fraud movement. I mean, the whole let me be let me be my child's parents. This is no place for the government. Allowing different crap, with the whole ESG. People were waking up to this
Mhm. That's
and coming
exactly it.
together in agreement. And that's why, the right was talking, this is going to be a red tsunami. And by all indications, it should have been,
Right. By all the
but it
polls, it
wasn't.
should have been.
Right. But it wasn't. Obviously, now I think there's going to be a narrow margin in the House. It's going to be pretty well fit. I think it's going to looking like
Looks like
probably
50-50 in the
50-50.
You know what?
And that's no different than what it's been the last couple of years.
I'm fine with continued deadlock because
Yeah.
as long as they're not doing anything, they're not screwing us over. Either side.
And quite frankly, if you thought, the Republicans winning the House or the Senate or both or whatever, if you thought this red tsunami was coming, I don't think it would have changed anything.
I really don't.
Even if it did, let's speculate and say it did. Let's say this red tsunami took over. It's not going to change anything. They're not here. They're not there for us.
They're both cards. They're both different face of the same card.
Yeah. Yep.
Just
You
one
know, I
side
mean,
hides it better than the other.
right. So they're not going to be the saviors that we want or we frankly we need as a nation. One of my first thoughts when I saw all this bull crap going down, I'm like, as much as I hate to say it, maybe it wouldn't be so bad to look at a national divorce. I don't want that, honestly.
No,
Um, but I do want people that are going to stand by and uphold the Constitution like they swear they're going to do.
absolutely.
And frankly, I don't trust the electoral system anymore. Maybe that's the division. That's maybe what they're driving people to do. I mean, I've thought about that as
I
well.
think that's part of it. Yeah.
They want to make lose trust in the institutions, that have made our country great. But again, there's too many little instances of things that could point to it being stolen.
Right.
I mean, you got cameras being shut down for 8 hours. You got all these new votes coming in from mail-in ballots and all that crap showing up being largely pointed to the Democrat or whatever. I mean, it's questionable.
There's a bunch of fishy stuff going on, and
There is.
I, I'm about to wash my hands. Well, I am. I'm washing my hands of both sides. I'm tired of it being sides.
Mhm.
Whatever happened to let's do what's best for the American people? And it's time for the people to just put their foot down and say enough is
Mhm.
enough.
Right.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'll get up back on my soapbox. Push your congressman, push your senator, push your governor for convention of the states so we
Absolutely.
can take all this back and tell them just to quite frankly, tell them all just to go to hell.
Yeah. I mean, wipe the slate clean.
The American people as a whole, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Independent, we're all tired of the crap.
Mhm.
I don't want any of it. We want to just be Americans. I don't want to be a
Right.
Democrat. Don't want to be a Republican. I just want to be an American. That's
Right.
all I want.
Right.
All
Yeah.
right.
And there was
I'm
a
off my
time.
soapbox.
No, you're good. You're good. There was a time that you could talk to your neighbor.
Yeah.
I mean, you may have avoided the conversation, but now, I mean, if you say something out of line to one person or another, man, you are blackballed.
Yeah. They come after you.
You they try to cancel you. Even some of our topics and stuff. I mean, I'm frankly surprised that some more of our stuff hasn't gotten pulled off YouTube. But there was a point in time when we had a First Amendment. People may not have liked what you thought or said or whatever, but they were adult enough to say, I don't agree with you, so I'm not going to listen to you.
Yeah. It's the easiest way.
Right.
Turn the knob.
Right. Change it. But then again, now you have internet. I would say, I don't know numbers. I couldn't quote you the numbers, but I would say that a large majority of people stream just about everything.
Yeah.
And they can go find their news. You're not, controlled by the three networks or the four networks.
There's
The
so many
whole
independent
mainstream.
networks out there now. Just little bitty
Right.
organizations. The smallest organization can have a huge footprint because of the internet.
Hmm.
And
Look at the number of influencers, quote unquote. It doesn't matter. I mean, there's kids, that play with toys and give toy reviews, and it's frustrating because my kids watch it. And you look up and see how much these kids are worth, and they're worth millions of dollars. And then you look and all sorts of different influencers. There's for cars, for political parties. Look at the people that this administration has put into play. They're putting influencers into play.
yeah,
They're putting them in positions of power. They're appointing these people because of their influence. They're playing a game. They're realizing, and I truly believe this, they're realizing most people consume everything on the internet.
oh yeah,
But in turn, I don't see the Republicans really, but that's where people are consuming everything now. It's not on, I haven't watched regular TV in a long time. I mean, if I do, it's usually like the old TV shows and stuff.
we just watch stuff off the DVR. I mean,
Right.
maybe 2 hours of TV a week.
Right.
I watch more YouTube than anything.
Oh, my kids do.
I search for topics that interest me and just watch about those topics.
Right.
Heck, a lot of TV shows now are available on YouTube. Just go
Oh,
watch.
yeah, because it's a medium that they can still make money on. Uh, I really think, satellite, satellite TV, like direct dish, all that stuff are kind of
They're on
obsolete.
they're on the way out because, well, let's just talk money. I'm
Yeah.
going to talk money. When I was on either, because I've been on both Dish Network and DirecTV, I paid about $170 a month for service. I was watching about 4 to 5 hours of TV a week. That's not a lot, not for 170 bucks. Now, I'm paying $35 a month, and I can watch whatever I want, whenever I
Mhm.
want. I don't have to wait and watch it at 6 o'clock. I just get on there and I just stream it, and I'm done.
Mhm.
2, 3 hours a week tops on a
Yep.
week where I have a bunch of time off, you know?
Mhm.
So, I can watch whatever I want for $35 a month. There's no reason to spend that money.
Right. Yeah, that's the same way. When we moved out here, we got I think it was Dish. It was one of the two, Dish or Direct, and it was a bundle with the internet, satellite internet, HughesNet, all that. Well, HughesNet sucked. It really did. Um, but once you get done with your contract or whatever, the prices go up, or you get like the introductory offer for like the first year, then the second year your prices go up, or they raise the prices anyway without letting you know or whatever, and they just start taking your money, and that's bullcrap. And we finally said, no, I'm done with it. We'll get internet. We'll find some okay internet so we can watch TV, and that's what we did. I haven't had a satellite hooked up here for years now. Probably 6 years? See, we've been out here almost 9 years, so probably about 7 years.
No, it's been a couple of years since I had a satellite working. I mean, as soon as
Yeah.
my contract expired, I turned it off, went to just streaming everything over the internet. I've got Roku TVs in every room,
Mhm.
and I've got the internet, and I can watch whatever I want, whenever I want.
Yep.
And if my favorite show is going to be off the air for 6 months, I can stop paying for that service until it comes back
Right.
on. I mean, that's actually the ultimate in democratic um, theory, because I vote with my pocketbook.
Right.
The things I'm willing to pay for get paid for, and the things I'm not willing to pay for don't.
Yep. And there's namely two of the big streaming services that we dropped because of the way they were handling things, the way they were going to support causes that I disagree with. So I dropped them. Now there's some shows I really like to see on them, but I'm like, no, I mean, and I think this is going to be a good segue because my convictions are stronger than my need to watch this stuff. I don't have to have that stuff to live, but I have to live my convictions and show my children the example of why I live that way. They're more important to me than those two streaming services,
I totally get it.
and I wish more people were that way. No matter what your affiliations or your beliefs are. I mean, we want to raise our children to those morals,
Mhm. You wanna raise good, decent kids,
right?
who raise good, decent families of people who don't wanna hurt anybody, they just wanna, you know, they wanna live their lives
Right.
and be good people.
Yeah, that's what you want,
Help
but I
your neighbors.
think, yeah, but I think, I mean, talking kind of where we were, where we are right now, where we are, I think people should stop, right, left, whatever. Stop towing the line for the mainstream.
Absolutely.
Drop not just the media, but the entire mainstream. Ground yourself in truth.
Think
And
for
like I've said a
yourself.
million times, yeah, like I've said a million times, I don't believe in this your truth or my truth or whatever. No, that's your opinion. That's my opinion. Truth is truth. There is no changing the truth, regardless of what you look at. Truth is truth. So you need to ground yourself in the truth. Start. Figure out what the truth is, because a lot of people don't know it.
Yeah, learn discernment.
Yes.
So many
And
people have forgotten it.
absolutely, and that's why Mark and I, when we tell you guys something, we say go look it up for yourself. Don't take our word for it,
Yeah,
because
we're
we're
just a couple
human, we're
guys.
fallible.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, is some of our opinions based on emotion? Sure,
absolutely. I'll be
but
the
we
first to
try
admit
to.
it.
Yeah, I mean, we try to bring you what we know to be true, and if you can prove us wrong, show us we're wrong.
We'll apologize all day long.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll admit I'm not scared to admit that I'm wrong. I don't have that much pride. I've got some pride, but not that much. I'm not scared to say, hey, I'm wrong and apologize for it.
And that's part of the problem. So many people can't admit they're wrong today. You've got to
Right.
be, you've got to believe everything that your side says and push it, push it, push it, or you've got to hate everything that the other side says and push it, push it, push it. Both sides can make good points. Both sides
Yeah.
can be totally evil. There should be no
Yep.
sides. We've got to eliminate the sides. The sides have to go away.
Right. And that's why the founders didn't want sides.
No, they did not like the idea of a two-party system.
No. I don't like the idea of a two-party system
No, it sucks.
because there's so many people left out in the cold that have to hold their nose to vote. You're like, I don't like either one of these jackasses.
My whole life, I have spent choosing the lesser of two evils, and I'm tired of choosing one evil over another.
Yep.
I shouldn't have to.
No. I mean, granted, I'm not going to agree 100% all the time with the candidate of my choosing.
No. Some of them I've been quite angry with.
Right.
Even though I still voted for them, I was quite angry with them. Because,
Right.
I mean, whether it was the lesser of two evils or just damage control.
Right. But I think that's where we are, and that's where we need to start is find the truth and plant yourself at the truth. Know the truth because that's the only way we're going to get through any of this. As an individual, as a nation, especially as a nation, you have to ground yourself in the truth. Then from there, if you haven't ever thought about it, understand where your morals lie. What are you pushing yourself for? What are you willing to stand for? Obviously you got to look at the ramifications, the pros, the cons, all that good stuff. Meditate on it. And here's something that may be a little controversial, but find something spiritual to believe in.
Yeah, I believe in that.
Whether it's God, whether it's just a creator, whether it's this new age stuff, find something to ground. Because if you look at it, the trifecta, the triangle, your spirit, your body, your mind.
Yep.
I sincerely believe we are lacking the spirit.
Yes.
Sincerely believe that. And that's why I say we're in a spiritual battle. Good versus evil. You decide what side you're on. I mean, the time to decide is now. Because I'm going to hit it here shortly where I think we're going, and you're going to need to know where you stand. Now, everything that I'm saying is my opinion. I'm not saying anything. I'm not speaking for Mark. Mark has
I'm
his own
agreeing with
beliefs.
most of what you're thinking and saying, though.
Well, we think a lot alike, but
We do.
I want to throw that disclaimer out there that I'm speaking for myself, not anybody else. And I would recommend anybody finding your spiritual truth, what you believe in, whether it be the Norse gods or whatever. That is your right to believe what you choose.
Absolutely.
But ground yourself in that too. Learn what you believe in. Learn it. If you read the Bible or the Torah, whatever other literature is out there for these other denominations or belief systems, Buddhism, Confucianism, whatever that is. I'm not judging whatever you believe in. meditate. Meditate, pray. To me, it's all the same. Prayer and meditation is the same thing. In all honesty, that's what I believe. And find yourself in that spirit. Focus inward. I'm by no means am I a spiritual leader, but this is what I believe. Understand where your beliefs come from, where you're led from. I mean, there's been a lot of complaints and a lot of contention over the 10 Commandments being in a public space. Nowhere does the 10 Commandments say you have to believe that Jesus is God or whatever. Yeah, it says, have no other gods before me. Decide who your God is. The 10 Commandments are a wonderful base, a wonderful foundation. And that's something I believe that we need to go back to as a nation. That foundation, thou shalt not kill or thou shalt not murder. It didn't say thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not murder. There's a difference. Honor thy mother and thy father. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not lie, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
What is wrong with that? Why? I've never understood that.
Yeah, here's my deal on the 10 Commandments. Whether you believe in one of the major religions that supports the 10 Commandments, just read it. It's good advice whether you're religious or not. It's how you should live your life, whether you're religious or not. Even the minor religions basically teach the same thing.
Mhm.
It's just not codified the same.
Right.
Basically, just don't be a dick.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're good, man.
Just boiling it
my
down.
wife-
Boiling it
Yeah.
down for people.
Now, my wife said to me, it's common sense. Yes, it is. Absolutely.
It's just good advice.
And this may sound misogynistic. Men, lead your homes. Lead your homes.
Teach your kids.
I'm not saying that women have to stay home and raise kids and cook dinner and clean house all day. Men are supposed to be the leaders of the home. That's my belief.
Yeah. Doesn't mean you're any better than anybody else, but somebody's got to lead.
It takes
You gotta have
everybody
a
in a
leader.
household. Yes. Stop being wishy-washy. She said, "Can I though?" No. I wish, but no. Stop being wishy-washy. Again, stand firm in the truth, in your beliefs. Understand where your morals, where your values come from. If you have values, do you have values?
Mm-hmm.
Understand that. And if you don't, if you realize, hey, I don't really have any values that I'm living by, I'm just trying to get through day by day, go to the spiritual.
Find some.
Go to the spiritual side. Find those values in that belief system. Even atheism is a belief system. I love it. I heard this. There's a pod. I need to listen to it. And it is a Christian podcast, but it's named I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist. Sounds great. I'm like, man, that's pretty catchy.
I might have to listen to that. That's good. That is catchy.
But Alicia, Mark's new religion. Don't be Dickonites. Well,
I mean, really. But you want to know what the best thing I have ever heard, at least in the last 10 years, has been? It's been a comic book quote. You know what comic book quote I'm talking about, probably.
Probably.
Captain America says, Doesn't matter what the press says. Doesn't matter what the politicians or the mob say. Doesn't matter if the whole country decides something is wrong. Something wrong is right. The nation was founded on one principle of all else, the requirement that we stand up for what we believe, no matter the odds, no matter the consequences. When the mob and the press and the whole world tell you to move, your job is to plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth and tell the whole world, no, you move. One
That's
of the best things I've ever heard.
perfect.
You know,
Perfect. Even though some dude in Hollywood wrote it or a comic book or whatever.
well, this may be Stan Lee. Hell, I don't know who exactly wrote this,
No,
but
but even Stan Lee had values. You could
yeah,
see it.
he did. And he wanted to teach kids values,
Right.
create heroes that were worth being a hero.
Right.
So I may take it upon myself to put this up as a meme. I don't know.
Yeah. I like it. Sounds good. But stand firm in your belief. Don't be wishy-washy. Don't go with the crowd. Because frankly, the crowd's going the wrong way. In my opinion. I'll say
I think
that.
they are.
But stand in your belief because I'm not going over the cliff. I refuse. I refuse to take myself. I refuse to take my family over the cliff. With the rest of society, I'm not doing it. If
Yeah,
that costs me everything, so be it.
it's heading for the cliff.
Oh yeah.
Come hell or high water.
Now, that's a great segue into where are we going?
It is actually. I couldn't have planned
we
that
are
better.
we are headed for the freaking cliff, y'all. Please open your eyes. And I'm sure if you're listening to the show, if you're a regular listener to the show, pretty sure we all think quite alike. But we are headed towards a cliff. I think we've passed all exits. This is my opinion, okay? If Mark has a different opinion, so be it. He can say so. But
Mark doesn't know.
I believe that we are heading towards the cliff and all exits are passed. I think that's the next stop. That's why I say stand by your morals, stand by your values, ground yourself in the truth. Because if you can't help but not see what is going on with everything, everything is upside down, tipsy, tipsy turvy, whatever that topsy turvy or whatever it is. It's everything's messed up. Good is bad, bad is good. Everything that we've been taught as old, damn, I hate to say it like this, but us older generations, everything that we've been taught. Y'all, if you're just listening, come back and watch the video. Mark's expression was priceless. But the values that we were taught are looked down on now. They're wrong now. You can't have those values.
No.
We're going to the cliff. But what I believe is worse is they're trying to drag everybody with them. Plus, two, there's several things I see what's going to happen now. I believe the economy was falsely propped up for the election
I believe that is correct.
because they knew it would have been a red tsunami had
And
the
they
economy
practically
collapsed.
admitted it.
Yeah. I mean, the president was over begging Saudi Arabia to pump enough oil to get us through the election.
I mean, what
So-
more can be said besides that? Yeah.
Right. So what that tells me is they're not trying anymore.
Nope. It's all for their personal gain. They don't care about you.
No, absolutely they don't. So here's what I see coming. We're moving into winter. It's going to be freaking, it's cold right now. It was snowing here a little bit ago. They're talking looming diesel shortages. Pay attention. We just came through a huge shortage of the diesel exhaust fluid. So I'm sure that supply chain is pretty small, pretty tight. Obviously heating oil, stuff like that. Have a way to provide yourself heat. They're talking worldwide shortages. In the summer, you can kind of grin and bear it. If it's hot, you can wet down sheets. I remember my brother telling me he was talking to a guy that grew up, you know, decades ago, and said they would go out and wet down bed sheets to stay cool at night. You can't really do that, not in the wintertime. Sure, you can put a lot of clothes on, but sometimes it just gets too damn cold.
Yep.
You know, find different ways, and I think we need to do a show, maybe some YouTube videos to show ways of like the whole terracotta pot heaters.
That is a great idea. Let's do that sometime in the next 2 weeks, before
Uh,
winter really sets in.
yeah. Have you a tent? Okay, let's. Now we're getting into practical things. Let's say your power's out, which they're still talking about looming power outages, all that. Let's say the power's out. It's freaking 10 degrees outside. Your house is drafty, like mine is. Because my house is super old. Learn how to build one of these terracotta pot heaters. Seal off your room. Great minds think alike. Seal off a room. Get a tent. Set your tent up in your living room or wherever, someplace central or out of the draft or what have you. Set it up. Put your family in there, blankets, all that. That'll confine that heat to that tent, so it'll be warmer.
Sure. The house will block the wind, and the tent will hold the heat in the tent.
Right.
Um, you don't have to have a tent. You can make a blanket fort
Mhm.
under the table. It doesn't have to be complicated.
No. It's things like that I would recommend people looking at how to keep yourself warm, especially if you don't have like a wood heater or a wood furnace, or like I've got a propane heater that is on site. We fill it up every year, so it's there. Worst comes to worst, and our heater is in our dining room. We have a wall heater. It does a decent job unless the wind is out of the north, because my house is really drafty.
It's kinda up on a hill, sort of.
Yeah, it
It's
is. I mean,
exposed. It's not really on a hill.
yeah, it's exposed for sure. Because last year we didn't get very much snow. We only got like 3 or 4 inches of snow, but it was drifted up probably a foot and a half in front of our house because just the wind was blowing across the fields. And but yeah, it gets drafty. It's an old house, so we have to adjust and find ways to keep warm. We have electric heaters. I've got a heating system I need to put in. Um, Different ways like that. But without power, those don't work. So have some extra blankets. Tea candles. Those tea candles, they'll say will burn for a little while, and especially in one of those terracotta pots.
Right? Uh,
You know,
the big votive candles that's
mhm.
about yay big, that you buy at Dollar Tree for $1. They'll burn for 48 hours, is it?
Yeah, something like that,
Something like that, and they put out a lot of heat.
or something else. Well, I don't know if you can really do it now. If you could find a metal coffee can, which I think there's still some being made,
Yeah, you can still find them.
um, put take the tube out of a roll of toilet paper. Yeah, my wife said a crayon will burn for 30 minutes. Yeah. But take the tube out of the toilet paper and cram it inside that coffee can. Right. And this is something I learned like for keeping your car if you ever get stranded. fill it with alcohol, like rubbing alcohol. That way you can light it and it won't burn the entire thing like right now because it's all compressed. But it's a heat source. It'll keep you warm for a little bit. And I wouldn't recommend burning it continuously, but warm your hands, warm up for a few minutes, close it back off, something. That's kind of the big thing right now. But let's look at excuse me. Let's look at the possible diesel shortage coming. Do you realize how many things run off diesel?
The whole world runs on diesel,
The
man.
whole world.
Every truck on the highway. Electric trucks ain't a thing yet, no matter what pie in the sky dreams California's got. Food gets delivered by diesel trucks.
Yep.
Diesel trains. Trains run on diesel. Diesel ships. Most ships run on diesel.
Yep.
And if it doesn't run on diesel, it runs on kerosene, like jet aircraft.
Yep.
Because I'm here to tell you, all aircraft fuel is really clean burning kerosene.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what it is.
You can pump it out of the ground. You can get kerosene out of a well.
Yeah.
So, but the whole world runs on diesel. A lot of your generator stations run on diesel. Backup generator at the hospital runs on diesel. Hell, the backup generator for our city here runs on diesel. No diesel, no bueno.
Yeah, exactly. Not to mention, trucks, trains, ships. Yeah. Everything is shipped by diesel.
Yeah.
Everything. No matter what you have, what you need. And this takes me to community. Again. Community. Community is key. I've been following a new content creator on TikTok. And he's got some valid points. He talks a lot about why the big talk about bugging out. To your bug out location or whatever in case of, SHTF. And it made sense. He's like, why would you leave everything you have? Barring like a fire or something or whatever.
Or a tsunami or whatever.
Right. But if it's just SHTF, say there's, government collapse, collapsed economy, why would you bug out when you have everything you need at your house, especially if you're into preparedness?
True. He's absolutely
everything
got a
you
great
need.
point.
He said, not to mention, if you have a location you're going to, who's to say that location isn't compromised? He said, why do people have bug out bags? And he's right. If you really think about it, he's right. And he's like, and he talks a lot of the same stuff that you and I talk about, community. He's like, to even hold a small house, you'll need 15 to 20 people. Because in that bad of a situation, you're going to need 24/7 security.
Yeah. It's not wrong.
You're going to need people to stand watch. All that stuff. My wife said I have a get home bag. And you need one.
Yeah.
I think you need a get home bag more than you need anything.
I'll have to bring mine in and show everybody.
Yeah.
It's not very big. It doesn't need to be.
No, it doesn't. It needs to be able to get you home. Now, if you're taking a road trip, kind of like what we did 2 weekends ago, coming up, or we'll just say a week ago, this past weekend. We were a 10-hour drive from home. Obviously, you should probably think ahead and have something that can get you home. I mean, I really think had we something happened, I mean, we kind of probably would have been a lost cause trying to get home because we would have had to go through Dallas
Oh God.
and Austin and all that crap,
Oklahoma City is it's a
or
dumpster fire.
Tulsa. Yeah. Sure, we could have went around it, obviously, but when you have millions of people displaced, who knows?
Yeah.
So you're better off probably trying to hunker down somewhere. But I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. But with the shortages coming, you need to get what you're going to get now.
Oh yeah.
Have it on hand. A food supply. If you haven't started, please start.
Even if
If
it's
you're
just a
listening,
few cases of ramen and just
yep,
get something.
a few cases of water.
Mac and cheese.
Right. I mean, if you've been listening to us for a while and haven't started, please, I beg you to start now. Like Mark said, start small.
Water filter.
Simple. Water filter. 3 days worth of food. It doesn't have to be great food. It has to be able to get you through 3 days. Rice and beans are cheap. Like my wife said, cheap foods. If you haven't started, and get something in place now. I know a lot of people probably think, "Oh, you guys have been saying this, the sky is falling for years." Sure.
Sky's always falling on planet Earth. Someplace. Maybe not
Yeah.
right here, but
Yeah.
the sky is always falling
Yep.
someplace.
But I mean, if you
Shit
look,
is always hitting the fan someplace.
what happened during COVID? That should have woke everybody up.
They should have. The great toilet paper shortage. That could
Yeah.
have easily been tacos or water
Yeah.
or anything. Anything you could imagine.
What was
This
it?
time it was toilet paper.
I guess it was probably 6 years ago because Thanksgiving Day we had people over and we did the gender reveal with my daughter, and that's when that plant blew up in Neodesha
Yeah,
and poisoned the river.
yeah.
So
No
they
water.
shut off the water. You know, so Thanksgiving we didn't have water. I mean, luckily the spring down the road we went and got water from the spring because everywhere was out of water. All your stores, everything was out of water. They were handing water out, FEMA and all that stuff. Now my wife said we had no water. No, we didn't. You had to make do. And to your point, it just happened. It was a few days of a pain in the ass situation.
It could have been a month, easy.
Right. Like you guys in where you live at, you're always
We're
seems like
always
always going
prepared.
down to a boil water or boil water order or something like that.
I am
My wife
paranoid
said,
about water.
yeah,
Paranoid.
yeah. This year we've had it hasn't rained enough. Obviously, they told us, or last I know I read that for one it was drier than the oh
Dust Bowl.
Dust Bowl. Yeah, thank you. Drier than the Dust Bowl, and it would take 12 to 15 inches of rain just to get our water table back to normal. The spring that we got water from, 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was, 6 years ago, has stopped running, and it's an underground spring. Chris said, "It seems like every holiday our water shut off."
It is. It seems like it. So you will find very few people in my town who do not have a backup supply of water in their house. I mean, I try to keep all of our 5-gallon water jugs for our water cooler full all the time if I can, just because I know at some point I'm going to need it. It's not
Right.
if, it's when. And it's through no fault of anybody in town right now. I mean, this is something that's taken years and years to develop. It's going to take years and years to get over. So I am very conscious about whether we're going to have water or not. You look under all of our sinks, it's filled with 2-liter bottles of water just so we can flush toilets or wash our hands or whatever.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but you've gotten so used to it, it's a way of life now.
Yeah,
And I really believe that's what preparedness is.
it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. It's do you remember that show Doomsday Preppers
Yeah, I never
several years
watched
ago?
it. I laughed at a lot of the ads and stuff for it.
I watched it. We watched it quite a bit. But the big thing is, and I can't remember who I was talking to the other day about it, but um, these guys, when we're preparing for the Yellowstone volcano eruption, we're preparing for an economic collapse, whatever. They had a situation, a single situation that they were preparing for. And again, if you listen to the show quite a bit, I hope you've learned that really preparedness in general is all the same thing.
Yeah, it's all the same thing.
There's no really special need for Yellowstone. Okay, maybe gas masks, maybe Tyvek,
Wouldn't hurt for that, no.
but your basics are all the same. Food, water, shelter, fire. Have a way to have all of those. Water purification. Because if Yellowstone goes off, you're going to need water purification if
Oh,
you live through
absolutely. 'Cause your water is going to be, I'm sorry, your water is going to be toast.
it. Yeah, literally. Uh,
A
it's
muddy
going to be
slurry.
concrete. Yep.
Oh,
So water storage or what have you. Groundwater is going to be polluted. I mean, all this different stuff to think about. But basic, look at your area, like where we live, tornado, thunderstorms, maybe an earthquake here or there. Not a whole lot on the big scheme of things. I mean, everybody's like, well, tornadoes, that's pretty big. Well, when you grow up around them, I mean, you're like, okay, well, it's
like, I've driven by one and waved at it. I was like, oh, hi.
as long as you stay over there, you good, but think about your area. Him, my wife, lightning strikes.
Yeah.
Yep. Think about your area and your situations. You may need to have extra food for, have another, a warmer place to stay or a place to keep cool, things like that. Think about that stuff. Write it down if you have to. I mean, you live in that area. You know what's going to happen, what couldn't happen. If you live in Arizona and your air conditioning goes out, it's going to be hotter than crap. Have a way to stay cool. Water, figure out a way, know a way, learn it. I mean, obviously, Mark and I, we can't teach you every situation that you need to prepare for. It's impossible.
Yeah, it is because it could be anything.
Yeah. The pandemic. Who would have thought the pandemic that didn't even really cause diarrhea would cause a toilet paper shortage?
It was a respiratory virus.
Right.
Everybody stocked up on toilet paper.
Right.
I was looking for Sudafed and Benadryl, people. I mean,
Right. And speaking from experience, I don't think either one of those would have worked.
no, they did not. Well, the Sudafed kind of helped a little bit. It wasn't
Oh, really?
until I got steroids that I actually started feeling better,
Hmm.
which they said didn't work, but oh my gosh, they really did.
Yeah. We'll stop there before we get this one
We'll get
booted
banned.
too.
It worked for me. It might not have worked for you.
Right.
Check with your doctor.
Right.
I think we're covered.
But the biggest key, and I know we harp on this all the time. I don't know if you can hear that or not.
I can hear that. Yes. Sounds like a trumpet.
It is a trumpet.
I'm sorry.
But no, you're good. The biggest key. Hang
Better
on a
your
sec.
house than mine, my friend.
I'm gonna send him to your house. Hang on a second.
Oh, I'll tank him up on chocolate and I've still got some of those chocolate coffee beans left. I'll
Well,
fix him
good.
up and send him home
Did you share with Chris?
a little bit.
Yeah.
They're available.
But the biggest
Well,
key
I
is
told her they
community.
were available. She hasn't had any.
Oh, the offer was there.
It's implied, yes.
But yeah, the biggest key is community. My Over the last few years, or last couple of years at least, working this podcast and doing that, looking at everything, researching topics, all that, my views have changed quite a bit actually on preparedness.
Same.
From you're not going to lone wolf it. You can't.
No, it ain't gonna work.
It's impossible. You have somebody that relies on you in one way or another, whether it be your wife or kids, um, an elderly mother or father, um, somebody, a neighbor. I mean, it doesn't have to be just anybody related to you or whatever, but somebody depends on you, whether you're single or not. You can't really lone wolf it. You're not going to make it.
Life don't work that way.
Nope. So
Sorry, life
community,
is a team sport.
it absolutely is. As frustrating as it is sometimes.
It is. It's a team sport.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have the community. And I want to try to get a hold of that guy from TikTok and have him on, see if he'll be willing to come on.
I would love that.
Because sure, we talk about it, but this guy, I think, lives it more. Because we have so many focuses, but we're like squirrels. We've got so much going on, and we're trying to throw a show together. We're trying to plan this show. We're trying to plan Wednesday's show. We're trying to, okay, what we got to look up, what we got to read, all that stuff. I think his sole focus is preparedness, and that's a good thing because everybody,
Somebody's doing it.
yeah, people need to. And I'm not saying this because we talk about it, but people need to take it seriously because it may not happen next week. It may not happen 3 months from now,
It may not happen to you.
but there's going to be something happen where you'll have the means to help out or a means to provide for your family and your wellness. My wife said, and you're more than full-time jobs. Yeah.
Let me throw a couple scenarios out for you.
Go for it.
Something may never happen to you. Say I've got a stockpile of water out here in my garage. And like the Joplin tornado of
I can't tell, but I think we may have lost Mark or he lost me. Yeah, Mark's stuck. I think he's having issues. Uh-oh, he's like frozen. Looks like he's doing the staying alive dance. Oh man, he lost him. But yeah, I think what he's what he's going for is if we had a problem, situation like the Joplin tornado over, just a little east of us. I remember what it was like 2011, something like that. But if you have a stockpile of food, you can always send help, donate it. Um, so that makes sense. I mean, I've thought about, preparedness in general, talking to people or what have you, or if somebody shows up at my door, hey, I need, uh, do you have any food or whatever, to turn them away or whatever. But I don't think personally, I don't think I could do that because that's not who I am. Especially, if I know them or whatever, because I was like, no, I don't have enough for you or whatever. But I truly believe that I wouldn't be capable of that here. I mean, this is what I can do for you. It may not be much, but it'll be something. So um, I think we may have lost Mark all the way. I don't know. Can't tell. Well, anyway, guys, I mean, pay attention to where we're going. With what I believe is coming our way, it's not going to be easy. Um, Kind of recap, picture a triangle. Your spiritual, your mental, and your physical well-being. You have to take care of all three of those. Hey, welcome back, Mark.
Yeah, my internet just went completely dead. I had to switch over to my phone.
Oh, dang it. My wife just texted me, "You want me to come co-host?" Well, I only
Should
have
be
one
fun.
mic set up, so yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think I know what you were talking about with like Joplin and all that, and I kind of explained. If you
Okay.
have a stockpile, you can donate some of that stockpile to that cause.
You might not need it, but somebody else might.
Right.
Whether it be 3 blocks away or 3 miles or 300 miles.
Yep. Absolutely.
So,
Um, and I was just reiterating, kind of what we talked about. Getting your spiritual, mental, and physical well-being in order with what I fear is coming. You're going to need all three of them.
absolutely.
Build your community. Start with one or two people. For those of you that listen for a long time, you remember No Stress Mike Maul talks about a 3-man militia. That's his kind of spiel. The man has a lot of knowledge. Go check his website out or go check his YouTube channel out, nostressmike.com. There's a world of knowledge out there, y'all. I wouldn't say Mark and I are the best, but I think we know enough to get you going in the right direction.
Yeah, do your own research like we always say.
Yeah.
Go out
Yeah,
there.
I mean,
It's out there, man. It's out there.
everybody's going to have different needs. If you have food allergies or you're a vegan, but everybody's going to have different needs. You're going to need different food, different preps. If you have little kids, you're going to need stuff for them. If you have kids that aren't potty trained, you're going to need to make sure you have diapers. If you have people have medical issues, you're going to have to make sure you have enough medicine on hand to try to get them through as long as you can, because it depends on the situation.
That's one of my
What's that,
weak
Mark?
spots. That's one of my weak preps. I don't keep enough meds on hand.
Right. I mean, we try to buy like ibuprofen and Tylenol and all that and keep it stockpile, but we could work on it.
I buy that stuff in bulk, but I have daily meds that I really should have an extra month set aside, but I don't. It's a it's no I know it's something I need to work on, but that's something people should think about as well.
Yep. Yep. My wife said, if you're a female, we need extra things. Yep. Absolutely. Um, your needs are going to vary. I mean, you're going to have people in your household whose needs vary. So you need to try to cover those bases the best you can. Are you going to be prepared for everything that comes your way? Probably
No,
not. I mean, is it going to be a situation where you have marauders riding around on motorcycles chasing gas trucks, kind of like Mad Max?
probably not.
Probably not, but I can see it being a possibility with diesel shortages. But
It's not out of the question.
no, it's not. What was it? A Dumb and Dumber. Well, there's a chance. Yes, I think there's always a chance because you have people that want to take advantage of those situations, go out and loot and all that. So you need a way to protect your property, whatever means you see fit. I don't know. It's really up in the air for how you want to prep because you have your own specific needs. That's my wife. My wife just said that too. So you're saying there's a chance.
You know, how many of y'all got neighbors that you actually like? Even if you don't really like them, but that you can trust. Get together with those neighbors.
Yep.
Start a neighborhood watch. Stand up for each other, whether there's an emergency or not. Because you get used to being able to depend on your neighbors. They get used to being able to depend on you. And your neighborhood is your community.
Right.
It should be anyway, but people need to make an effort to talk to Mr. Jones down the street, to talk to your next door neighbor, to talk to your neighbor across the alley. Be on good terms with them. If you got a garden, share your garden with them. If they've got a
Yep.
garden, you can share back and forth. You get used to that, and it's something you can depend on when the chips are down. You lose your job, they lose their job. Tornado goes through, what have you.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, man. It's
Doesn't have to be complicated.
no, and I really think that's a lot of it. People think about it and they look at this. Man, that is so much to do.
Turn off your cell phone, turn off your computer, walk across the street, and knock on Mrs. Messner's door
Yep.
or whoever. Just say hi. I'm your neighbor.
Right. I mean, we're a community. You got to be a community. I mean,
Yeah.
out here where I live, I mean, I know a couple of my neighbors. I don't have a lot. When I say neighbors, they're like 3/4 to a mile away. But we know we kind of know each other. We've talked. A couple of them I went to high school with. Another one, he's a cattle rustler. So I'd rather not deal with that guy.
He might be able to find you some beef.
Well, maybe, I guess.
I mean, he might not be a bad friend to have, Phil. Might
Yeah,
not
but
be
I
a bad
can't.
friend to have.
I can't tolerate the guy. I've talked to him a few times, and I got no use for him.
Sorry, Phil.
But
I mean, come on. Beef is good.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, my wife, she's like, "What? Plenty of meat." Yeah, but man, I don't have a lot more.
I
I mean, I
don't
hope we
either.
gave you some. Hope we gave everybody some food for thought. And I want to share this in case you haven't seen it. Um, it is our Buy Me a Coffee screen. We have our own little site on Buy Me a Coffee. It's got our mugs on there and our two show logos and little video, all that. So do us a favor, just go out and support us if you would, please. It's excuse me. It's buymeacoffee.com/whatiftomorrow. Real simple. Help support the show. And let us know what you think. Let us know what you want to hear. Again, I mean, we enjoy doing the shows.
And we
And
enjoy the feedback.
yep,
So
absolutely do.
send us email, post it on our group on Facebook, whatever. Message us. Send us an email. whatiftomorrowpc@gmail.com. We'd love
Yes,
to hear
sir.
from you. And if you've got ideas, you're going to tell us we're doing good, tell us we're doing bad, tell us we're a bunch of idiots. I mean, we want to hear from
Yeah. Yeah. Let us know. I mean, if you got, like I said, or Mark said, you got ideas, share them with us by all means.
you.
If you have questions, if you want to know what you're having trouble thinking of how to get started preparing, shoot us a message.
Yeah.
We'll be happy to lead you in that direction, right direction. I mean, we're not going to charge you
Yeah. But at
because,
least tell you where to research at.
yeah, because like a physical community, I mean, Mark and I have kind of built this little community too. We're all in this together. But with that being said, again, like Mark said, we email us whatiftomorrowpc@gmail.com. Love to hear from you. The Facebook group, What If Tomorrow, What If Tomorrow podcast group. We also have What If Tomorrow Media. If you want to join there, that's fine too. Basically, all that goes up there is our videos. And look out for Wednesday's show. Jess is going to be on. Pam's got the invite too. We're going to talk crop circles on the Fringe. It's going to be a fun show, informative, I hope. It's always a good time when Jess and Pam are on because they kind of keep us grounded. They kind of keep us focused on that. So
Yeah. We're kind of like the cats that get herded. I'm not
yeah.
what that refers to.
Yep. But anyway, folks, thanks for hanging out with us and listening. And we'll catch you next episode.
Have a good night.